As for Chelsea, they had the best chances of the game, didn't they? And as they did when they came back against Liverpool, arguably, at Wembley earlier this season. They just keep kind of falling at the final hurdle or two. What is that about? Is that because this side is so young? Is that what it is?
Wasteful. Very wasteful in front of goal. I mean, how many chances does Nicholas Jackson want? He's not a natural finisher. When you think back to great finishers, they do everything on instinct. They don't overthink things. And I just think when you see him go through, there's an element of he's not going to score, and that's a concern. I think he'll get better with age. I think he'll get better as he settles into his Chelsea career. But I think we've probably sat here at least 10 times now and said Chelsea played well, but they were wasteful. Yeah. And that's just the story at the moment. However, there is that side of it where this is a young Chelsea team. They do need that experience in the game where, okay, well, if it's not quite going our way, we still stay within the game and we don't concede a goal. And I just feel like they've got that worry about them at the moment where they don't have that in-game management.
So, because I guess the knee-jerk reaction is to look at Pochettino and go, oh, you know, you've got all these players here and you're doing this wrong and that wrong. I doubt Pochettino says to Nicholas Jackson, I tell you what, when you're one-on-one with the keeper, I want you to go round him so far that you can't then have a shot on goal, and then your pass to try and find a Chelsea player is so under-hit that it's easy for the City. That's what I want you to do, Nicholas, when you're out there. He doesn't do that, does he?
No, of course
So
not.
can we cut Pochettino a bit of slack here, or does ultimately the manager take the responsibility for this?
No, I think we've said it so many times this season that Chelsea are a work in progress. They're a young side. They're developing. They need to improve in the consistency where we'll see them beat Everton 6-0 and then they go and lose the game. But actually, when you reflect on the game, they were probably the better side. For a lot of it, created a lot of chances. They just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And Nicholas Jackson did a lot of good stuff. I think off the ball, he was pressing well, winning the ball back. He was getting himself into good positions. His link-up play was quite good. But then it's just that composure in front of goal, and it's doing that on a consistent basis is something that, I'm sure Pochettino will be working on. I'm sure he'll be looking to develop, but he's certainly worth sticking with because you can see attributes. It's just about doing it on a consistent basis.
Yeah. I think he's a squad player. I think once you think of like the big teams, and if they get one player through the door, often it can be the final piece of the jigsaw. I think Pochettino knows he wants a striker, and I think then Nicholas Jackson becomes the impact sub, or he becomes one where he might play 1 in 4. And I think that's his role at Chelsea once they bring in that top striker up front.
Yeah. So, but it spent $1 billion, which is often thrown at them.
Not his players.
Which is often thrown at him.
Yeah.
So therefore, do you look at the recruitment and say, how can you possibly spend that amount of money and not buy a guaranteed goal scorer up front?
Well, they had one in the ranks. They had Lukaku. And how you can't get the best out of him or try and work things out, which is probably disappointing. But yeah, the recruitment's been scattergun approach, hasn't it? It's just been by the best young players. Hope they all come together, but you definitely need a foundation to play off, and that is a top quality striker.
Yeah, they've still got some tricky games to play. It's starting with Arsenal away this Tuesday, but there is a feeling they could get in a European place. They've been to Wembley twice this season, once in a final, once in a semi. If they were to get a European place, would that be considered a success because of the transition that they're in?
I think the big thing for me is from the last season to this point now, has there been progression with Chelsea? And I think there has. I think there's just another year under the belt of this young Chelsea team, putting a striker into that position. I think then you're going to see a different Chelsea next season. I think Pochettino's actually done a good job. I think there's been inconsistencies, but that comes with a useful squad. I think they've progressed this season. Probably not to the heights that Chelsea fans would have wished for, but there's definitely progress there.